Welcome everybody to NewsBit's sixth video. We're going to stay on the concept of promoting you to draw your own conclusions. So what we're going to do is present you some information we see from GBH News, dig into the people a little bit, and maybe do a little bit of math. So any subjective flair I put in here, feel free to challenge in the comments. I'm not trying to influence. I'm just trying to present a little bit of my takeaways. But really draw your own conclusions, everybody. So we're going to look at the inner workings of Boston Public Schools today. So without further ado, the title is Citing Racial Inequities, Boston Public Schools Suspends a New Advanced Learning Classes. So this was written yesterday, the 26th. So a selective program for high-performing 4th, 5th, and 6th graders in Boston has suspended enrollment due to the pandemic and concerns about equity in the program. The title only lends credit to the concerns about equity, so we're going to focus on that for the article today, or the video today. And I'm going to be tough with pronunciation. I'm not so good at that, so I'll say the name best I can, and then use initials for the sake of not stumbling over my words. So Superintendent Brenda Cassellius of Boston Public Schools recommended a one-year hiatus for the program known as the Advanced Work Classes, saying the district would not proceed with the program for new students next year. There's been a lot of inequities that have brought to light during the pandemic that we have to address, BC told GBH. There is a lot of work we have to do in the district to be anti-racist and have policies where all our students have a fair shot at equitable and excellent education. New students will be admitted in the 4th grade by standards to be determined at the school level, according to the BPS spokesman, Boston Public Schools. There will be no new students admitted in 5th and 6th grades, the spokesman said, but those already in advanced work will be able to continue. A district analysis of the program found that 70% of students enrolled in the program were white and Asian, even though nearly 80% of Boston Public School students are Hispanic and Black. School committee member Lorna Rivera, LR, said in a January meeting that she was disturbed by the findings, noting that nearly 60% of 4th graders in the program in Orenberger School in West Roxbury are white, even though most 3rd graders are Black and Hispanic. This is just unacceptable, Rivera said, LR, if I'm going to be consistent, at a recent school committee meeting. I've heard these statistics before and I'm very, very disturbed by them. The program was open to all students at the Boston Public Schools who took a test known as Terra Nova in the 3rd grade and received a high score. These students were placed in a lottery conducted by a central administration office, and the lottery winners received letters inviting them to apply to the program. Last fall, 453 students received invitations, 143 applied, and 116 were enrolled. So let's look at the funnel here. If you work in marketing or sales, you'll hear about a funnel, and that's how I don't work in sales and marketing, but that's how I've seen these teams manage, opportunities to leads. So we're going to use the same type of logic here. So we had 453 invitations stated by the article in 143 applications. So right there we had 32% response rate to this invitation. Of those 143 applications, 116 were accepted. So more than 8 out of 10 kids that applied got accepted. And I think those are pretty impressive. I think that's a pretty high acceptance rate. It does look like there could have been a lot better engagement in terms of invitation to application. So maybe the school system did a poor job at sending out the invitations. Maybe the invitations were unclear on what this program was. There's a lot of possibilities. I can't draw conclusions properly here, but let's get back to the article. Students in the program have opportunity to study subjects in greater depth and are offered more schoolwork than traditional curriculum. BC says interest in the program has declined over several years, and only 5 schools currently offer the programs. The James F. Condon School in South Boston, the Jackson Mann K-8 in Allston, the Richard J. Murphy School in Dorchester, the William H. Orenberger School in West Roxbury, and the Josiah Quincy Elementary School in Chinatown. Students already enrolled in the program will be able to continue, BC said, but programming decisions about how to continue will be made at the principal level. District officials have launched a working group to determine the long-term future of the program and are expected to make a recommendation by May, so another 3 months or so. So we're going to look at the person. Let's look a little bit into the superintendent of Boston Public Schools, Dr. Brenda Cassellius, or BC as we're going to call her. So with more than 3 decades as an educator she has devoted her career to ensuring all children succeed and thrive. So to me, if she's ensuring all children succeed and thrive, I don't know why she's taking these opportunities away from kids for the next year. And that's my own opinion. Draw your own conclusion. With an unrelenting commitment to ensuring every child receives an equitable, exceptional, and joyful education. Her leadership is student-centered, supportive of educators, and grounded in collaboration and effective community partnerships. Sounds admirable to me. Most recently, she worked as Minnesota's Commissioner of Education. Her work led to comprehensive education reforms that resulted in historic new state funding. The enactment of an all-day kindergarten, state-funded preschools for 25,000 children, and the highest high school graduation rate on record for all students groups. That's awesome resume, or it seems it at least. Prior to serving as commissioner, she served as superintendent in East Metro Integration District. I believe that was in Tennessee, where she led an integration and achievement agenda as associate superintendent in Minneapolis Public School. That was not in Tennessee. Ignore me. I think she did work in Tennessee. I saw that in some other resume of hers or some other site, maybe her LinkedIn, where she led implementation of the Minneapolis secondary school redesign. And as academic superintendent of the middle school in Memphis, Tennessee, oh, there it is, where she was responsible for accelerated gains in middle school student outcomes, narrowing achievement gaps, and the end of corporal punishment. I'll look into that. I have no comment on that. BC and her husband are proud of their three children. Outside of work, she plays hockey, water skiing, spending time with family and friends. Seems like an active person. So now we're going to go look into the person that is disgusted with these numbers, that is calling these numbers unacceptable. And this is Rivera, part of the school committee. So Mayor Walsh appoints Dr. Lorna Rivera to the Boston School Committee. A Boston School Public Schools. Wow, I'm saying school a lot, and this is one take, so thank you guys for getting through it. But a Boston Public Schools parent and an accomplished educator with extensive background in student advancement and strengthening diverse communities. She's a wonderful addition to the Boston School Committee. I look forward to Lorna's values, contributions to our students in schools as we continue to work together to create more opportunities for all students. So I don't understand why they're taking opportunities away from students with this advanced work program. It seems like both of these individuals really want to give people opportunities, but their actions right here are telling me that they're just taking them away. So we're not going to go too much longer. You guys can read these articles. I'll link them in the description. I'm going to start doing that from now on. And now I just want to look at a Boston Magazine article. And it does seem like that BC, the superintendent of Boston Public Schools, has some critics, and as anybody with any semblance of success, I'm sure you're going to have critics. But what do her critics argue? Because I'm interested in that. I have not done much research on her. I heard about her for the first time this morning, or end of day yesterday. But her critics argue she's too focused on visionary and starry-eyed future transformations to tend to the urgent problems of present. Or, as BC's remaining supporters contend, is it a problem that Boston, a city of sharp-elbowed politics and deep skepticism of outsiders, have refused to give her a fighting chance? I think she definitely deserves a fighting chance, but her critics might have something. It seems like she's not worrying about the students now and focused on this long-term vision that she wants to implement. I don't know. I wanted to keep this video to 5 minutes. It's now been 9 minutes. So I want you guys to draw your own conclusions. But it does seem like there's some interesting things going on with public education. And those that want to give opportunity to students are somehow actually taking opportunities away in many forms. Thank you guys for joining Newsbits, and have an awesome weekend.